And welcome to Ask the Experts on Newstalk 1290, a CJBK, here on this Saturday afternoon, joined by my friend Joan Ball from Royal LePage, Triland Realty. You can reach Joan anytime at 519-672-9880, joanball.com, the website address. And we say good day to Joan Ball. How are you?
I'm doing very well, Ryan. How are you?
Excellent. Thank you. Great to hear your voice as always. And I guess, we're into spring now. I don't know if you and I have talked since spring or not, but doesn't matter. We might have had one show. I forget. I don't think we have, though. Nonetheless, does that mean a big change in the housing market? Before we get to the current state of affairs here, Joan, in this area, when the calendar turns and we're into a different season, does that usually mean, okay, there's going to be more action because we're heading into some nicer weather, that type of thing? And I know things have been turned on their side over the last couple of years, but what does spring mean in the real estate market?
Well, surprisingly enough, we had a little bit of a slowdown in February, and that may have been, had a contribution from a number of things that are happening around our globe and the nasty weather. But March has certainly, as I always put it, the tap has been turned on. Mm-hmm. We are seeing certainly more properties come on the market than we have seen for quite some time. So I expect we're going to have a very, very busy next few months. And I think maybe the buyers might be happy about this because it does look like they may have a little bit more to be able to offer on, and hopefully that will take care of some of the buyers. And I do expect the interest rates to blip up again shortly. So
then it seems to be then, Joan, things happen so quick, but so in a very short period of time, are we seeing a bit of a softening of the market in terms of, and like you say, if there is more supply, that gives better options to the buyer. But has it changed a little bit then over the last few weeks, 3 weeks maybe?
So how I sort of help people visualize it, we are no longer standing in the center of the fire. Okay. We are right on the edge of the fire. So it's still hot. It's still scorching in many ways. Multiple offers are certainly still present. However, I am noticing a few properties, if they're overshooting their list price perhaps, they may not get offers on list day, on offer day. There are a few that are adjusting some prices. So this is the transitionary time when sellers need to be really recognizing what's in their best interest as far as recruiting offers if that's what they want to do, and not overshooting the list price. And therefore not, in fact, recruiting offers. It really does, in this market, indicate that the market will bear what the market will bear. And when there's more properties on the market, then more buyers will be satisfied, and they may not get as many offers, if any. But we're not at that point en masse. We're certainly recognizing more listings coming on, but we're certainly selling almost that many each week or month, and I think the March stats are going to be quite active.
Joan Ball on Ask the Experts here on Newstalk 1290 CJBK, our real estate expert from Royal LePage, Triland Realty. You can reach Joan at 519-672-9880, joanball.com, the website address. We do have a listing of Joan's that we're going to talk about in just a moment. And quickly too, Joan, you did have another home on the market, and you had multiple offerings on that, I hear?
Yes, I did have a property up in Ilderton on the market. We did get multiple offers, and it certainly recognized a above listing sale. And I think that's indicative of sort of placing it. Even a week can make a difference in this market.
Wow.
So, people were holding off, I think, for March break, and then since March break, it's been really, really active.
Can you tell me, Joan, because I heard somebody say it, I think it was on a news report or something. They said the term, and I always have to think, okay, what is the definition of that? Okay, I'm going to be talking to Joan soon. A bully offer. What is that again?
Okay, so a bully offer is also classified as a preemptive offer. If individual listing agents through their seller are instructed to hold off on offers and someone brings an offer prior to that date, that's considered a preemptive offer, a bully offer. Sometimes the seller will indicate no, they do not want to see any preemptive offers or bully offers, and they'll wait the full period until offer date. Sometimes they will indicate that they may consider or be willing to review any bully offers. Sometimes they indicate only strong bully offers, meaning that it's significantly over list price. So there's a number of ways of doing it, but it has to be indicated clearly so that everybody knows exactly how that listing is going to proceed.
Okay, so it's not illegal or anything.
No, it's not illegal by any stretch. No, it's part of the game right now, unfortunately, or fortunately, because some individuals will feel like, listen, I want this house. I'm willing to go way over list price or to a certain price. I want to try it and see. And sometimes they will, if they don't, if the seller decides not to review it or accept it at that time, they may come back at the offer date and they may or may not better their offer. And, then it sort of lines up where they're comparing and, they cross their fingers and hope they get it.
Just your own personal perspective on it, Joan, and I'll ask in the sense that if you had a client you're working with that is selling your home and somebody comes in with an offer like that, and the way you describe it, say well above asking price, how do you advise them on which direction to go?
It does depend on a couple of factors. It does depend on the level of activity they are getting on the property. Otherwise, if they're getting a lot of offers, or a lot of showings, then I may certainly indicate to them, listen, I think we've got some indication that we may have more than one offer. It's always up to the seller. That it's their property, it's their investment. So they're the ones that ultimately decide. And some will start out indicating that the seller may consider or review strong preemptive offers. But at the end of the day, quite often I find that if they're getting the attention, they'll hold off and wait till offer date and see what comes in then.
Got it. Joan Ball on Ask the Experts here on Newstalk 1290. CJBK, our real estate expert from Royal LePage Triland Realty. You can reach Joan at 519-672-9880. Go to the website, and if you go to the website right now, click under go to the website regardless, because it's a great resource if you are buying or selling, joanball.com. But right now, if you go to the website and click under My Listings, you will see that Joan has a listing there right now. Tell us about it, Joan.
1365 Langmuir Ave is one of those century homes. It's turning 100 this year. It is very well maintained. It is very traditional to what you'd find in Old South, Old North. And this seller has maintained it beautifully with all the original trim, the original hardwood floors, French doors with the original speckled glass. It has a main floor powder room, a walk-in pantry. The kitchen has been updated with an island, and a dishwasher in the appliances are included. Main floor laundry. The basement is partially finished, and upstairs has 3 bedrooms and a full bathroom. So it offers a lot. It does have a 1.5-car detached garage, a fenced yard, fully fenced yard, and is south-facing the yard. So nice and bright, beautifully done, move-in ready, and it's listed for $549,900.
Awesome. Yeah, really, I love the interior in that home. That is amazing. And how old, Joan, did you say?
It's 100 years old this year.
Wow.
It's turning 100 this year. And you would never know it. I mean, some of those houses The quality, and it's probably the original house in that area. It's close to Hale and Langmuir. It really is a quiet little nestled area. And, the quality is certainly exceptional in that house.
Very nice. I love the front porch, too. It just looks so inviting and comfortable.
Yes, a fully covered, full front porch.
And a nice sized garage. Yeah, that is very, very nice. So you can check it out on Joan's website, joanball.com, under My Listings. And are you taking offerings for that home?
We are going to take offers on Sunday.
On Sunday, okay. So fair warning for our listeners, not a whole bunch of time, but you can make it happen. joanball.com, the website address, and I think you'll be very impressed. And again, you can go to the website, joanball.com. Here on Ask the Experts on Newstalk 1290 CJBK, we are with our real estate expert, Joan Ball. And again, you can reach Joan at 519-672-9880. joanball.com, the website address. We're back with more on Ask the Experts right after these. Welcome back to Ask the Experts on Newstalk 1290 CJBK with Joan Ball from Royal LePage, a Triland Realty, 519-672-9880, joanball.com, the website address. Joan, have you seen over the last couple of years, it's been quite a hectic time for real estate agents. I don't know that there's been a topic that has sort of been a, top of mind topic for the general public more than house prices. So a lot of talk around your industry and everything else. How has it been for the industry itself when it comes to real estate agents? Have you seen more get in, or have there been a number of them leave the profession? Any idea there, numbers-wise, just sort of anecdotally?
Yeah, there's been a number of changes. There certainly have been more agents coming into the business. There are also a lot more out-of-town agents who may not be able to secure business in their location coming into the city and either representing buyers or listing properties that they may have sold to their clients a few years ago and getting them back on the market. So I'm certainly seeing a change in that way. We now have over 2,000 agents in as members of London St. Thomas Association of Realtors. So that's changed a bit, but the adage is still about 80% of the 20% of the agents sell 80% of the business, which sometimes, through this last 2 years, you can see 10% of the agents selling 90% of the business. So those who are full-time in the business, I certainly find them flat out and running like crazy. And but there has appeared to be some room for other agents to come into the business.
That's pretty amazing, those numbers, 20 to 80 or 10 to 90. And I remember back years ago, I had a few people that I knew that were part-time agents, if you can call it that, because they had full-time jobs. Is that a thing, Joan, in the business then?
Yeah, certainly we see it, depending on the profession they might be in. I've worked over the years with many individuals who are also full-time firemen, or they may have other jobs and just, they may have a spouse that's into fixing up properties and they want to be able to have a license to save the commission or whatever there's a number of different ways of presenting it. But we have seen a slight increase in the last little while.
Got it. Joan Ball here on Ask the Experts on Newstalk 1290. CJBK, some great questions in the mailbag we're going to get to in just a moment. But I want to ask you this, Joan. A friend of mine told me there a week or two ago, a listing that they actually looked at. What was intriguing to them was that the ad said the home backed onto bush property, call it, and it said that there were walking trails through this property. Well, when they inquired further, and there was no indication in the ad that you had to do this, but this bush property was private property, you had to ask permission, and it could go either way. The current homeowner themselves, actually, they found out, did not use this property. But bottom line, the wording in the ad indicated that this property that backs onto the bush you have access to, which really wasn't the case. I mean, just sort of false reality there. I mean, even to the agent in this, is that sort of stretching the boundaries a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. The facts need to match the facts.
Yep.
Or the statement needs to match the facts. And if there is a sort of a codicil to that or some kind of a condition, then that really should be disclosed, any pertinent information. And that may be considered latent defect in that, and that may be a loose sort of explanation of that. But in that, whatever is going to impact on the peace and enjoyment of a future owner is disclosed. You know, if it's got some hurdles, let's put it that way,
Yep.
To get over. So yes, the statement needs to match the facts.
Common sense from Joan Ball, as always. Joan Ball from Royal LePage, Triland Realty, 519-672-9880, 519-672-9880. JoanBall.com is the website address. I'm going to go to Eric and Lynn have a question here, Joan, and that is, and I'm so much looking forward to the answer here. What is the one most important issue to ensure doing before putting a property on the market? You've answered this question over the years a number of times, but there's always been a couple of things you've said, and if you want to give us a couple, but what is the one most? Is there?
So it's interesting because I think there's so many individual issues related to any specific house.
Yeah.
So, you know, obviously I'm going to recommend that they purge any clutter in the house, organize closets, pack up some items. You know, in our instance, having someone come in to give them a staging consultation, that ensures not leaving money on the table, hopefully by presenting the property as ideally as possible. If you're looking at listing, for example, this time of year, we would have taken perhaps some outdoor pictures last fall or summer to properly represent, or hopefully we can find some photographs that give a better idea of what that property looks like in the spring or summer or fall months, so that it really does give them enough. But also, just as important as that is study the stats, look at the sales, look at what you're going to list for, and make sure that that's in line with what is going to work for you to recruit the highest and best. And I never recommend to underprice a house. I always say price it bang right on and make sure the marketing matches what the reality is occurring in the present market, and then the market will bear what the market will bear in return.
Excellent. Thanks to Eric and Lynn. Great question there. And one of the things you just said there, Joan, earlier when we were talking about your listing, which is on the website, joanball.com on Langmuir, I was going to say, and then it totally left my mind, was how amazing the pictures on there, not only the interior, but the exterior. And I was going to say to you, and you've said for so long about having maybe an archive of pictures and current ones, of course, but you so illustrate the beautiful backyard with the flowers and everything, which obviously I haven't been able to take so far this year, but it exactly to what you say always about having some pictures on hand that really, really highlight the beautiful backyard that you may have to potentially, if you're going to put it on the market. So you've got those pictures, and you did that on that home, didn't you?
Yeah, it's really important to ensure that you're crossing your T's and dotting your I's as much as possible. Whereas in the past, I wouldn't have done floor plans. But we do floor plans now because, and this was really one of the, I think, the positives that came out of the pandemic was providing the buyers with as much information as possible and detail to be able to make an educated decision. So all utility costs, all the information related to all of that, make it easy for them because they're not spending a lot of time in the property, and you certainly want to help them make as an informed decision as possible.
Joan Ball on Ask the Experts on News Talk 1290, CJBK from Royal LePage, Tri-Land Realty, 519-672-9880. Before the break, Joan, what is the average length of time if people are looking at a home these days? Has that changed over the last couple of years?
Well, I think that this is where it's interesting because obviously if we're holding off on offers, it does not reflect the true days on market. But right now we're looking at 7 to 10 days on market. Most properties are finding themselves with an offer. Last month's stats, I think were 80% of sales went over list price by an average of, I think it was around 80,000, something like that.
Wow. I don't know how you have all these stats and figures on the top of your head, Joan, and I apologize because I kind of didn't word that properly, but great answer. How long, if somebody wants to look at a home and like physically there, if it's on the market, has that changed in terms of, is it a half-hour window that people are taking or...
Yeah, it really depends on how active the property is.
Okay.
Certainly, I've seen properties where it's very, very active and they can only squeeze you in for 15 minutes.
Right.
If there's a little bit more time, certainly with my listings, I say that if somebody isn't right after you, feel like, certainly feel free to stay an extra few minutes if that will help your buyers get a better sense of the property. Half an hour is sort of the expected, I think, in many properties, unless it's just jam-packed. And gone are the days where it's an hour-long showing anymore. But certainly with some of them, you can book again and get back into it if you want to get a little bit more detail or look at it for a second showing.
Got it. Joan Ball on Ask the Experts. Royal LePage, Tri-Land Realty, 519-672-9880. JoanBall.com, the website address. Back with more on Ask the Experts after these. Joan Ball here on Ask the Experts on News Talk 1290 CJBK. You can reach Joan, as always, 519-672-9880. JoanBall.com, the website address. And just literally about 2 minutes left here, Joan. Denise has a question here. She wants to know if she should wait until the market calms down a bit before buying.
Yeah, and that's that's $1 million question. Huh. There were individuals, certainly I have had sellers in the last 5 years who, got sort of shocked and maybe put in a couple of offers and didn't get them and then sort of backed off and came back into the market, understandably quite upset because then they were paying that much more for a property. I think London is really going to hold its own for quite some time. I don't think this market is going to go anywhere. It may become a little bit more balanced, but that's probably a good thing because it's so leaning towards the sellers. The sellers are loving it, but it really has been a tremendously stressful event or a process, I should say, for buyers. So if anything, it may just soften out a bit. But I don't see it going anywhere negative in the near future. So if you're looking at getting in, get in. The interest rates are very good right now. I do expect them to increase in the next while once again, and they have just blipped up last month a bit. So I would say, depending on what you're looking at, depending on where you're looking at purchasing, certainly if you're looking at the City of London, it's going nowhere but up for certainly the foreseeable future.
Excellent. Thanks, Denise, for that question. And JoanBall.com is the website to go to check out Joan's listings. And one more time quickly, Joan, the listing that is there right now?
Yes, 1365 Langmuir Ave is listed for $549.9. Offers so much. A 1.5 car detached garage with a shed addition off the back, fully fenced yard. a sitting deck just outside the mudroom on the back, main floor laundry, two-piece powder room on the main floor, all traditional feeling formal rooms and foyer hardwood floors, updated kitchen with island dishwasher. It has 3 bedrooms up, two bathrooms, and a partially finished basement.
Wonderful. JoanBall.com, the website address to check out, and the phone number 519-672-9880. Joan, as always, thank you so much for joining us. Great information today, and we'll talk to you again in 2 weeks.
Will do. Thanks, Ryan.
Awesome.
Take care.
Thank you. Joan Ball here on News Talk 1290 CJBK, our real estate expert from Royal LePage, Triland Realty.